Going to do a couple of things to the bike. One of them is put a better spotlight switch on, and the other one is a fuel filter. So I'll show you what I've done for those two things. Okay viewers, earlier on I put spotlights on this bike. They work really well, but I never had a switch, so I just had a switch taped to here, and it just runs down to the relay, and that was a temporary thing because I couldn't find a good switch. So thanks to eBay, let's go to the bench. I got this switch, which I'll stick over here. Oops, stick over here on the handlebar, and then wire it in to make it look a little bit more factory. So let's start to wire him in. So here's a couple of screws. I'll put a bit of tape on there just to stop it scratching. So it goes that way up. So we will take this bottom screw out. I'll stick that here. Loosen this one off. And just slide this over here. Tightening up a little bit there. Maybe this one from the back. I'm getting positioned. Tighten up this top one. This is a little bit hard because you can't get to them once they're tight, so we tighten up, then just rotate him to where we want him, which I think that there's about maybe up a tad, maybe up there, and that should allow us to get the bottom one tight. So put a bit of heat shrink on, seal it up. And I'm going to go through here. Okay, you can see the switch there. I've run the wire through here. I'm going to solder it here. I'm just waiting for the soldering iron on the ground there to heat up. We'll heat shrink it and tape it and cable tie it so it looks factory. And I'll try and shrink that with a soldering iron. If that doesn't work, I'll use a flame. So let's okay, this is a little trick, just winding the electrical tape onto something smaller so you can get it around into tight places. So there we go, I'll just cable tie that up and get it all neat, and we should be right to go. So there it is, finished, sort of factory looking. If we turn the key on, you'll see the, let's get rid of this here, you'll see the light there. You can put onto high beam and you can see it working there. Much neater. Excellent. So the next job, what we'll do is we'll be adding a fuel filter. For this one we've got to take off this cover here and get to the fuel hose, and I'll show you what I did for a fuel filter. So in here normally there's just a little bit of pipe, just a pipe that goes directly from the fuel petcock down into the carby, and there is actually a little filter in there which I didn't realise. I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll show you a bit of a diagram, but what I've done is basically made up a new pipe. I've left the original filter in there, which is way up in there, and I've put this inline fuel filter, which are only a couple of dollars from an auto store. They're a hell of a lot bigger than the original fuel filter and should do a much better job. The reason I'm doing it is because I was out on a ride and got some fuel that could have been a bit dodgy, and it's been okay, but you never know. So these are scintillated brass filters, so you can actually blow backwards through them and clean them out, which is pretty handy when you're on the road. So yeah, that was about I think $8 for that mod all up, so not too expensive and not too hard.